I'm Jim Rimbach, president of CX Global Media and host of the Customer Service Weekly podcast powered by PACE, the official podcast of National Customer Service Week, where our purpose is to help you ignite CX celebration all year. Each episode, I meet with senior leaders from top brands as they share their story on how they recognize and lead the people and solutions that help their organizations to deliver a customer experience that separates their organization from others, so you can ignite your own CX celebration. And now, on to the show. Hi, CX Igniters, and welcome to the Customer Service Weekly podcast, which is the official podcast of National Customer Service Week. And this interview is actually sponsored by Customer Service Weekly. So in order to be able to get the latest updates and insights on how to ignite a customer experience celebration all year, go to customerserviceweekly.org. So today, I actually have Gordon Schleffer from Magellan Health, who is on with me today. And he has 20 years experience in the contact center space, working with both hosted and BPO sites. And his experience ranges from industries like healthcare, hospitality, automotive, property, and casualty. And Gordon is currently the VP of Customer Care for Magellan, leading their Radiology Authorization and Medicare and Medicaid contact centers. Gordon, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be here with you and everybody else.
Oh, yeah. We're all glad to have you here. Now, if you could give us a little bit of background into your role, your contact center, and the areas of focus that are important to you at Magellan Health.
Sure, I'd be glad to. The two different roles that you talked about a little bit earlier are very different as far as scope and interaction. So the radiology piece, it's more provider-based. It's auth intake primarily, with some customer service questions, but it's basically listening to ordering providers who want to set up a potential authorization for a radiology treatment, like an MRI or something like that. And they just need to get their info into the system so that we can complete the authorization and get an answer back. Sometimes it's real time, sometimes they get an answer the same day, and sometimes we need additional clinicals and we need a nurse or a doctor to review. But the difference there from a lot of call centers is that it's transactional based. So it's more like order taking. It's going through identifying the provider that they're in network, identifying the member that they're part of the plan, and then going through. We do somewhere on the number of about 15,000 calls a day, and probably about 20,000 authorizations a day, both on the phone and then the auth would be through our automated system as well. We author an IVR prompt for self-service, an online service. Provider can go in on their own, or they can call in. So that's one big group. And then the second group is Medicaid and Medicare call center support. So member services and provider service, basic member and provider servicing issues ranging from I got this bill, do I have to pay it? I need a new PCP. I need a new ID card. Or why didn't you pay our claim? We've treated your member. You need to pay us. Everything in that scope. And so that is a different call type. There's a lot more engagement needed, a lot more empathy on a lot of issues, servicing members who have health issues or the providers that are treating them.
So when you start talking about, a couple things in your bio that I didn't share, is you have a couple different areas of focus that are important to you that you kind of have passion for. Can you share those with us as well?
Sure. For me, the big thing is about the caller engagement and the caller experience. I think that as our industry has grown, at first our industry was really focused on cost. It was literally down to the penny, cost per call. It was the only focus. And now with all of the customer satisfaction, people are loyal to how they're serviced as much as what the cost is. So you can't be priced out of the building anymore. But there are industries that will pay for strong service and customers who will repeat and come back to it. Medicaid's a great example of that because the customer doesn't necessarily choose. They're assigned in most Medicaid plans. And so they stay with you because they want to stay with you. They don't come with you, but it's one of those, you make a great first impression, an ongoing impression, and you stay. So my passion has always been about the caller experience or the member customer experience, and making sure that you're demonstrating the value that you're trying to give. And then my other passion is at the call center level. So it's the agent engagement and the agent or associate or constituent, whatever the call center calls their team. But making sure the engagement and their satisfaction is right at the same place as, to focus on our callers and forget about our agents is not going to go well, and is not going to give us the results that we want.
Well, and I think what you just shared right there is kind of what you and I were talking before we started rolling the recording, is we talked about how we go about celebrating that, and we talked about how you've done that in the past, and if you could share a little bit of that.
Sure. And I'll tell you, Jim, this will be review for everyone, because I think, like you said, I've been in a couple of different industries, and it seems like Customer Service Week, although it's really fun, it's kind of the same industry to industry. So, there's lots of food. The first thing you learn is if you're going to diet, the call center industry is not the place you want to be. If it's not a work from home environment, there's always food. And during Customer Service Week, typically my thing has been, you start off, there's something food oriented every day. You start the week with breakfast. Midweek, there's a snack and a lunch. And then at the end of the week, it ends in either cakes or cupcakes or root beer floats or some crazy thing that you do. We've done gifts, so big gifts, raffle for trips or weekends away, electronics, televisions. Back when iPods were a thing, I remember we gave away iPods. We do T-shirts. One of the best ones we did is we did really inexpensive but logo sunglasses. And then the pictures that you take when all your agents across the floor are all looking at you with sunglasses is really amazing. And it's themed. So we've seen Superhero Week or Rock Star Week or Movie Star Week, and there's usually a dress up day in there too. Where people either, come as their favorite superhero, or we're all going to be customer service cowboys, and, the company has great hats. And then really probably the last thing is it's about also taking some steam off. It's in the Medicaid industry. It's a little rough because the first week of the month is usually your busiest week. And yet here's Customer Service Week rolls in the first week in October. So it's a little bit of a balancing act to get people off the phone to play mini golf around the call center, or some version of safe Frisbee golf, or any kind of like circus or backyard circus kind of events to make it a little different. We did once like an America's Got Talent kind of a thing, where we let people focus their talent on customer service and sing a song, act a skit, do whatever they do. And the morale was just unbelievable. And I think that's what the focus is. It's to celebrate the people doing the job. In my opinion, take away from the other 51 weeks, which is celebrating your strongest performers. Customer Service Week for me has always been saying, this is a tough job. It's tough to sound just as happy and peppy on the first call as the last call, or the last call as the first call. So let's take a week to recognize the folks who do it day in and day out. Most of them have a passion for it. So to stay in our business for any amount of time, you need to have a passion for people and caring for people regardless of the industry you're in, because you talk on the phone all day. And so to me, that's what it's always been about, is how to recognize and have fun with your entire team, whereas a lot of other times you're really focusing on the top performers.
Well, that's a very good point. And I can also say too, for me, and because I've been part of a few scenarios where things didn't go off as well as we thought them to. So is there something that you've done in the past that you would absolutely not do again in the future?
I guess I was thinking about this, and I can't think of any event that we did that didn't go well. The only thing I could say is when you have a low budget, and we've probably all been in that time. You know, some years you get a good budget. Some companies see it as a big budget item, and some companies don't. To me, the failure has always been trying to take a low budget and do something as close as you can to what you've done in the past, but on smaller scales. So we did that one time where we tried to do that, and it was pretty much just a lackluster week. And in walking the call centers, really what I heard was, listen, if we don't have the budget, because our front line knows our business, whatever business we're in. And so they know if it's been a good year and a bad year. And if you're transparent and you tell them, hey, it hasn't been a great year, I don't have a big budget, they would have preferred that we did one thing great, knock it out of the park with a great one-day event and let everybody know what's going on. And that would have been better than a granola bar on Monday and, you know, some popcorn on Wednesday and a cupcake on Friday. So I think I'd say if you don't have the money, make one memorable event instead of trying to make 5 marginally memorable events.
I think that's a really good point but it also goes back to something that could potentially be a conflict because, you know, we are an industry of caring people, but we are leaders that are caring leaders. I mean, that's typically the way that it goes. And so when you start talking about that, we feel bad, you know, we have some remorse, and we try to do more than possibly we really should attempt to do. So thanks for sharing that. But this year, you're going to have a very mixed scenario talking about the whole forced to remote or many contact things, not most. As well as, you know, a different shift in the way that we've been having to service. Some industries are thriving right now, others are not. I mean, we've had this unnatural shift. So when you start talking about this year, what are some of the thoughts going on with you and your team?
You know, it's funny that we're actually talking about this today because just earlier this week, I had the first meeting or attended a meeting with my morale team, and we talked about customer service week and what's going to happen this year. And so my charge to the team this year was a little bit different than in years past because of the work from home. And our company is, I mean, I wouldn't say we're 100%, but I'd tell you we're 95% work from home right now. And where will we be in October? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, we have contact centers in 8 states. So maybe depending on how that state is going and depending on what's reopening, we could be in various degrees of return to work. I'll tell you, in our company, we'll never be back to the amount of people in the call centers that we had in the past, just 4 months ago. We'll probably never return to that level. So I talked to the folks about thinking of customer service this year. What's the spirit of it? You know, let's boil it down and say we won't be able to do breakfast on Monday and all that stuff because to me, in the past we've sent out gift cards or sent out little card. Hey, go get an ice cream cone on us. That's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. So I asked them and challenged them really to look at the recognition of what everybody does and the commitment they make to our customers and our company. And let's try and get that type of feeling into Customer Service Week this year. To me, to make it more about the things that were lacking over the past 3 months of quarantine, which in my opinion is connection. So a lot of our associates, they work from home now and there's no one else at home. So they went for weeks and maybe months, maybe seeing someone at the grocery store, maybe deathly afraid to go and getting it dropped at the front door and not seeing it. And for our company, we don't have the Zoom option for every associate. So even in a monthly or a weekly one-on-one with their leader, they still weren't seeing a face. It might have been television was the only time they saw another human or looking out the window. So what my challenge to the team is let's look at it differently this year. The crazy thing is we have a great budget because the monthly employee relations and the rewards budgets, well, they kind of went unused. We don't have anyone in the office. We don't have donut day. We don't have ice cream sandwich day or potato chip day, And I guess we should have some healthy snacks too, since we're a healthcare company. But we didn't have that. So our budgets look pretty good rolling into Customer Service Week. But what are we going to do with it? And so I threw out some, what I thought is, I threw some bait in the water for them and said, think about how we can celebrate what we do, and then talk about improving or increasing engagement and connection. So to me, it's the personal things that will increase connection. So one of the things that we'll likely do is have the frontline supervisors and managers write a personal note to each one of the people on their team, thanking them for their efforts over the past year, or if they haven't been with us a year, then the time span they've been with us. But not just, hey, Jim, thanks for another great year. Happy Customer Service Week. I want them to be personal. I want them to show their people, and they know them, something about it. Make it personal. Make it count. Because I think that will help connection, and that's where people will see that we value them and the job that they do, even if we can't buy them a hot fudge sundae or a hot dog on that day.
Well, even when you're saying that, you had mentioned the word spirit, and you also talked about the other 51 weeks of the year, and I think there is something that we have to do in order to be able to kind of balance that, impact and effect out. So, carrying the spirit of Customer Service Week every single week, how are you guys been doing that, and what do you think you may do differently?
I've been with Magellan coming up on 2 years, and when I got there, that is something for me. I'm pretty passionate about 52 weeks in the year of customer service, and not one, and then start planning the next week. I think to me, that there's two things that I mentioned. It's connection and engagement. And to me, engagement is really brought up when you make your frontline team part of your business, not just the part that they signed on for and got hired for. And what I mean by that is, my experience has been people get more engaged when they feel like they're part of the solution. And so over the past 2 years, I do a traveling roadshow. We've got numerous sites. And when I go there, I always pull folks off the phone and put 10 people in a room and say, I don't have an agenda. Tell me how to be better. Tell me how we can be better. If I do have an agenda item, it's, hey, we have this issue with answering this type of call, and our service levels and our answer times, and what's slowing you guys down in getting to this call type, or if you're in a special queue. And it's amazing when you give people a topic. Every time I do it, I realize how much they know the business better than I do. Yes, I can talk service level and occupancy. I can talk that with anybody. I feel very comfortable with there. And a lot of our frontline agents, they can't. That's not their thing. But when I say, okay, we have an issue with handle time, and if I was going to ask you for suggestions on how to cut 10 seconds off our overall handle time, how would you do it? That's the only topic I typically need for a 1-hour meeting. And I have 5 whiteboards, and I'm writing things all over the walls, and they're just coming up with idea after idea. Now, are they all? No, it's a brainstorming session. Well, IT won't do that, or the system can't do that, or there's all that kind of thing. But I think if we engage our teams year round, that's the spirit of Customer Service Week is how many times, and maybe in the olden days I'd call it, where the customer service group we weren't valued as much as we are now, in my opinion. We were seen as, we're just an area that they just keep paying. We're not bringing in any revenue. We're not sales. We're not meeting quotas or exceeding quotas until we start engaging and bringing back ideas and feedback. It seems like over the past, especially 5 to 10 years, companies have realized that no one else in your company talks to your customers except us. We're the ones that talk to the customer. So if you really want to know what's going on in your business and how to improve it, talk to the people that talk to your customers every day. They'll tell you their hurdles. They'll tell you the speed bumps, and they'll tell you what you're hitting out of the park on a daily basis. And to me, doing that regularly, ensuring that our agents or associates know that it's not lip service, that recognizing a great idea, and then when you see it, sending an email to 800 people saying, this was Jim's idea and it's going in tomorrow. Thanks, Jim, for a great idea. It's going to save us. Man, it isn't just Jim that's happy about that. It's everyone who knows him or was in the room or that entire site. And that's what brings true engagement.
In the way that you're talking about it, I would dare to say that of all the things for your 20-year tenure in the contact center industry, it sounds like that's probably been one of the most impactful to keep the spirit going all year long.
For me, it's kind of been my secret sauce, is making sure that depending on the business, call center is its own business, but it's not the business in most cases. So, whether it's automotive or claim or property casualty or whatever, hospitality, that's the business you're serving. But so call center is your business. So I think it's about showing that value and showing what we can bring to every business that has kept me going. And you realize you don't need to be a technical expert. What you need to be is a people expert. So a lot of the work that's been done on like emotional intelligence, that's critical stuff. And call centers, we've been behind the curve, in my opinion. One of the things that's really always made me kind of question is when you go into a call center and you say, what kind of training do you have? Oh, we have great training. We bring people from the street to the sea really fast, and it's interactive. Oh, awesome. And everybody has that. And then the next question is, what kind of leadership development do you have? And in the call center industry, the answer is usually, it's a one-on-one mentoring kind of well, of course it is. Yes. Yeah, great. And what is most companies, you find your most talented people and you promote them, and you think that they can coach and develop other people because they could do the job very well. And that's not always the case. So to me, you got to start by engaging your team. Then the leaders will emerge. And then it's finding, developing, and mentoring those folks to lead your organization into the future.
Well, and I think you may have kind of led into the point, but there's a lot of myths and misconceptions that customer experience leaders have about delivering excellent customer experience. What do you believe is one of the top ones?
Say that again. I'm not sure I followed that one.
What do you believe is one of the top myths or misconceptions that CX leaders have about delivering excellent customer experience?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's two things. I think number one would be it's all at the frontline agent level too. I think it's pay enough money, don't pay too much, and but pay enough to get people who can do the job, and then they'll do a great job. And then train them on the business, train them on your product, but not always focusing on, well, I think that would be it. Train them on the product and pay them what they'll take, and they'll do fine as customer service, not seeing the value in training the soft skills. So training the empathy or the sales, or depending on the industry you're in. I think we miss a lot in that area.
Well, how do you think that actually hurts them?
I think they don't, the executives don't get what they want. And so they get what they pay for. They're not investing in the frontline people. And so they're never really satisfied with the service that their company is getting or being judged on. I mean, NPS, a lot of that is probably based on the people skills of your frontline team, not your systems, not their technical knowledge. And so they think that, oh, well, it's the call center is a failure, or my leaders in the call center are a failure, when in actuality, it's probably the whole planning and execution of the service that they're paying for or trying to not pay for.
Okay, so how do you attempt to do things a little bit differently to have the outcome that you want?
I think it's just focusing on those things that I mentioned, and one of the things that, because I don't mean to say that we should constantly go for more budget, because I don't think the answer is always, well, I need to do soft skills training, so that's 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours training, so I need more FTEs for that. I don't prescribe to that method. What I like to think of it as, you make your own time in the call center. So, if frontline supervisors and managers and directors and VPs, we know how to do the budget. It may seem complicated, but we know in our industry it's not that complicated of an industry. I mean, there's really it's about number of calls, handle time, and number of people. Yes, there's tons of calculations around that, but that's what it all comes down to. If you want to make time to do training on soft skills, on engagement, on empathy, on upselling, make your time. Become more efficient. You got your budget at the beginning of the year. Stay within your budget. Cut 5 seconds off your handle time. It'll give you that much more time to do the training, and you'll be fine. And so, to me, you can't train those people skills with CVTs, and you can start, and they're part of it, but you have to actually talk to people and practice those things so that they're comfortable doing it when the money's on the line.
Well, and as you're talking, there's that start coming to mind as far as our realities. And is there something that you have seen had worked in the past that now is false about being able to deliver an exceptional customer experience?
That's a good one. I guess I'll go back to the practices that we've had, which are promote your best agents to leadership positions, and then don't train them how to be leaders. So, assuming that because you can do all the things. So maybe you're really empathetic. You can calm down that angry caller every single time, or you can turn that no into a sale every single time. Assuming that that's all the tools you need to go out and manage a team and develop them to do it. I think we're missing a big piece of call center leadership training. And in my organizations, we've tried to put it together, but it's not like getting a degree in accounting or becoming a lawyer. I mean, those are professions where you learn the profession. Maybe in the future there'll be a degree in call center management, but it'll all come down to being able to coach the skills. It's not even call center management; it's the coaching skills, and I think that's probably been the biggest miss in our industry, is not developing the leaders when they're in the position.
Well, for me, there's a lot of things that are resonated as far as what you're saying, but then I also start thinking about those emerging senior leaders. You're tenured. You've been around, you've seen different industries, different organizations, and different cultures, and different products and services that have been delivered through those and supported by those contact centers. But if you had one piece of advice to give to an emerging senior leader in a contact center environment, what would it be?
One piece of advice. Get out of your office. Go out and meet with every group. go out and talk to your frontline agents, and then go and talk to your leads, and then talk to your supervisors and managers like that. I've always been a big fan of skip level meetings as a senior leader. Not because I'm not for the gotcha moment, not looking for that. I don't even entertain those kind of discussions in those sessions. But people will, if you do it and you're genuine and you're consistent. So, don't go meet with your frontline agents on your first visit to Houston and then go back there every quarter and never talk to anybody. But keep doing it, stay consistent, and talk to the people. And really ask them and take notes and try and spend less time talking and more time listening. To me, that's been my recipe for success and relating to people and helping drive our business. Because, what do we get judged on? We get judged on a lot of different things. What are our metrics are the easy things. Well, not easy to do, but easy to measure. Service level, our answer speeds and our talk times, our sales rates, all that stuff. But the soft cost stuff too. So how do you drive attrition down? How do you ensure that you're promoting from within and have people feel like they're engaged? I'll tell you one great thing at Magellan we have is we do employee survey. We take employee survey feedback to the max. We do an employee survey every 5 months, not once a year, not every other year. Every 5 months, and they're targeted. Afterwards, we handle it the way most companies do this. We analyze the data, we do action plans, we meet with the team again, that whole thing. It's really strong, but it's every 5 months. And so we're constantly asking our employees, how are we doing as a company? How's your manager doing? And then tell us what else is important. And to me, that speaks volumes to your staff that you don't even know, because if they feel like you care about them, then they're going to care about your business too.
That's so true. Okay, so I've really enjoyed our time together. Can you please share with our listeners how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. I guess my email, if you're interested, is schlefferg@magellanhealth.com. That's probably the easiest way. Or if you want, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm glad to connect with anyone, or if you want to chat, hit me up on LinkedIn, and we'll set up some time and we'll talk.
Gordon Schleffer, thanks so much for sharing your experience and wisdom with us. I know for sure that some of those CX Igniters out there now have a greater understanding on how to perpetuate that customer service week experience all year long. Now, if you have enjoyed this particular episode of the insights shared by Gordon, please make sure that you go to iTunes and rate and review and subscribe to the Customer Service Weekly podcast. Gordon, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you for listening to the Customer Service Weekly podcast. Please rate, review, subscribe, follow, and share the Customer Service Weekly podcast and register for a free membership at customerserviceweekly.org to get the latest updates on how you can help ignite the CX spirit everywhere.